What's up, guys? This is Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla in the overall markets, as we just got some inflationary numbers that are looking quite optimistic for the markets, helping us once again push to all-time highs on many ETFs. It's also helping Tesla try to push above 350, which is a good sign so far. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Looking at Tesla, we have a left shoulder head and then right shoulder forming an inverse head and shoulders right here. If we hold above 350, we could continue to uptrend for essentially this attempt to push to 355. As long as we don't end up losing essentially this 345 area, Tesla could try to continue to uptrend. Looking at spine, the QQQ are also pushing quite nicely, but the question is, can we sustain these levels? If we could hold above 653, I do think we're going to try to continue to push for the all-time high to 655, then 658 is next. But if we lose 652, we could return back down to levels we saw yesterday. So it all depends on if we can hold up or not. But for now, the market is still showing some signs of strength. So what's going on? As you guys know, there's lots of news about Tesla once again looking at permits to offer more ride hailing services in Silicon Valley at different airports in San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland. This is quite bullish news, and this is going to help them continue to expand what they're already starting. So that's great news for Tesla. On top of this, today is Wednesday, September 10th. We just got the PPI data a couple of minutes ago. And check this out, guys. We have PPI month over month at negative 0.1%, well below expectations of 0.3 and 0.4%. So PPI month over month is cool. Core PPI month over month is at negative 0.1%, also below expectations. That is quite cool as well. Core PPI year over year is at 2.8% below expectations, between which we were expecting 3.5 to 3.6%. It's below. And then PPI year over year for August for all items is at 2.6%. This is also below what we saw. So keep all of that in mind. That's going to be very, very important for us moving forward. Below expectations data, inflation is cool, and the market is once again really liking this. So I think this is absolutely fantastic. On top of this, there's a 90.1% chance the Fed now gives us a 25 basis point cut, and almost a 10% chance we get a 50 basis point cut. With CPI coming out tomorrow, that could also greatly affect this, but for now, the market looks optimistic. Oracle also saw the shares up quite a bit due to their AI backlog. And also, the share price is up 30% despite the fact that they missed on earnings, right, on EPS and revenue. Their AI backlog and what they're basically offering, a lot of these different chip stocks, has been very, very bullish. We're looking at new agreements that were made. And then also, there's going to be a lot of cloud providers that have deals, at least so far, with Microsoft and Nvda and such. And as results, we're seeing there a lot of growth potential in their cloud infrastructure, and investors are very, very excited about that. So, with what we're seeing, Oracle, the share price is up quite a bit, helping a lot of chip stocks. That is also helping the market to some extent. Now, for the rest of the week, we just have some minor earnings coming out for like retail, nothing way too crazy. A couple of other pieces of news. Once again, with the booming growth estimates for their cloud business, Oracle is doing great. Great move up. They're holding up quite well so far. Apple had its launch event with new products such as the new iPhone 17 Pro Max. Good news for Apple. And then when it comes to other pieces of news, I think there's some big news that came out from the White House. A federal judge has blocked President Trump from firing Lisa Cook for the time being. So for now, that happened. We're going to see if that changes or not. And then the Supreme Court also has now agreed to hear President Trump's appeal to lower court decisions to block many of his tariffs. So we're going to see what ends up happening with the Supreme Court. So a lot of updates so far, at least from what we're seeing. And then President Trump is also trying to urge other countries to increase tariffs because he's not really happy with the way China and India are, forming partnerships right now. So that's another piece of news we're seeing. So, anyways, let's talk about what's going on with Tesla stocks. So, if Tesla hypothetically gets a rejection, and we need to lose 347. If we do, then yes, we could turn back down to 345. But as of right now, that's not looking as probable. It looks like Tesla might try to push a little bit higher as we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. But I want to see us hold above 350. As long as 350 holds, we could continue to push back up for like 355. So watch to see if 350 holds. If it does, I think we consolidate and start pushing for 355. That's going to be very, very key for how we end up moving. So 355 most definitely has potential targets, and there's a good chance we try to go higher with this inverse head and shoulders. For SPY needs to hold above 653. If we could hold above this, I think we're going to likely retest 655. Break 655, we go up to like 658 for new all-time highs. But if we reject and lose 652, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 650. So lose 652, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 650, but break above 653 and hold it. And I think we're going for 655 again and eventually 658. Overall, SPY just looks more bullish, and we just have to follow the price action. We're still favoring upside. Now, the QQQ is breaking all-time highs, invalidating this head and shoulders, and also this like wedge is looking less probable to pan out. We're just going to follow the price action instead. I find that to be more viable. If we lose 582 flats, we could return to 580. If we could hold above 583, that's the previous all-time high right here. If we hold above this, we could be pushing for new highs to 585 and 586 plus. We're favoring new all-time highs for 585 to 586, so we're still looking more bullish. The IWM is trying to bounce. If we end up losing 235, we're going to dump lower. As long as we're above this support, we're looking for 238 as our potential target. ES is making higher lows here. As long as we don't end up losing essentially 65.30 to start dumping back down to 6,500. We're going to be favoring 65.60 plus and eventually 65.80 is our targets on ES for more upside potential. NQ is also looking more bullish. We were talking about how we had this like bullish wedge right here and we got a break out of it. We're also breaking all-time highs, getting close to all-time highs on NQ. We need to lose 23,800 to turn more bearish, but as of right now, we could be testing the all-time high, 24,000. We'll see if we can break that. NQ is showing resilience. Bitcoin also has an inverse head and shoulders here, so it's favoring 115,000. Let's actually kind of like zoom out a little bit on the 4-hour time frame so you can see this a little bit better. As you can tell, we have an inverse head and shoulders, and we could be pushing for 115,000. Tesla also has an inverse head and shoulders forming. So long as we don't lose 350, we're looking for 355 as our target. Nvidia is breaking out. It's going to be favoring an attempt to get back up to 180 plus, so there's potential nonetheless. Aapl was a little bit weak here. We need to try to get back above 233.5 to bounce for 235. If we lose 232, we could dip back down to 230. So we're kind of in the middle. We were dipping quite a bit after yesterday's launch, but we're going to see if we could bounce at least from here. For others out there, we have AMD. It looks more bullish, favoring 166 plus. Even ARM is favoring 145. Coinbase is breaking out for 325 plus. It's looking more bullish to me. Amazon might retest 236, and we'll see if we bounce. Meta is favoring 768. Google's favoring 242.5 to 245, and then Microsoft is going to be favoring 510 as our potential target. The VIX is also on a bit of a downtrend. We could be dipping lower all the way back down to 14.5 or below, as the market's looking more bullish and once again breaking highs. So we could be looking for new all-time highs in SPY and the QQQ. And then Tesla also has an inverse head and shoulders here, so it could try to break out higher. Based off what we're seeing right here, there's an inverse head and shoulders. We could continue to uptrend for the 350s. 352.5 and 355 are potential targets. I think we're holding up quite well. So that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Tesla has more upside potential. PPI was decent, and for now, the bias is in favor of bulls. Watch your levels just to be safe, and just know the market's looking more bullish. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.